In the year 4120, Earth had joined the Galactic Peace Union, a powerful alliance of alien worlds built on rules, silence, and peace. One of the strongest rules was simple: no physical contact between species, not even a handshake. Touching was forbidden. Commander Jack Harlan, a tall and quiet man from Earth, didn't question this rule anymore. He had followed it for 10 long years. But something about this new mission made his chest feel tight. Jack stood in front of a large glass window inside the Valerian Royal Hall, watching twin suns rise over the Silver Mountains. The planet Valeria was beautiful, calm, and filled with violet trees and soft floating birds. But Jack wasn't here for the view. He was here to represent Earth in a new peace mission, and to meet the alien princess. The doors behind him opened with a quiet hum. Jack turned. She walked in with grace. Princess Sarava, daughter of Empress Thalixa. Her skin shimmered like soft violet silk. Her long hair flowed behind her like a river of black stars, and her eyes were bright teal, glowing gently. She wore a royal robe with golden patterns, but there was something gentle in her walk, like she didn't want to scare anyone. Jack gave a small bow, placing his hands behind his back, not forward, never for a handshake, never for touch. You must be Commander Jack Harlan, she said in a soft voice. The human. Yes, Your Highness, Jack replied politely. Her lips curved into a slight smile. We don't say Your Highness on Valeria, she said. Just Princess Sarava is enough. Jack nodded once. As you wish, Princess Sarava. They stood in silence for a moment. She looked at him, head tilted slightly. Why do you humans never touch anyone? She asked gently. Is it fear or arrogance? Jack didn't answer right away. He'd been asked this before, by other species. But this time, her voice had something different. Sadness. It's the law, Jack said finally. To avoid ... complications. She stepped a little closer. You mean disease or war? Both, Jack said. One mistake can cost lives. She lowered her eyes. And yet, we Valerians do not get sick from humans. You know that. Jack looked away. Not always about science. Sometimes it's about ... history. Princess Sarava walked to the window and stood beside him. For a moment, they watched the twin suns rise together. Quiet, then she whispered. I read about Earth, about how your people greet each other, handshakes, hugs, even something called a high five. Jack smiled a little. Yeah, we're a very ... physical species. But not with us, she said. No, Jack answered. Not with you. A royal mission later that day, the Empress called Jack and Sarava into a tall chamber lined with floating crystal lights. She looked old and wise, wearing a crown made of metal and light. There's a problem on Furna's moon, she said. Rebel group is attacking both human and Valerian ships. They reject the peace union. They think we are better alone. Jack listened carefully. What do you want me to do? I want you and my daughter to go there together. Speak to the rebel leader. Show the galaxy that we trust each other. Jack blinked. Your daughter, Princess Sarava. She knows our people better than anyone, the Empress said. And you speak for Earth. If you both stand together, it may bring peace. Jack looked at Sarava. She met his eyes calmly. I accept, she said. Jack hesitated. I accept too. The Empress nodded. Then you leave at dawn. Cold silence in the stars inside the sleek silver cruiser. Sarava sat across from Jack. The ship moved quietly through space, stars shining outside like frozen sparks. Sarava spoke. Softly, you seem uncomfortable around me. Jack shook his head. I'm just ... cautious. About me? No. About myself. She leaned forward slightly. You carry a shadow, Jack. What happened? Jack tensed. Nothing you need to worry about. Perhaps not, she said, but I do worry. Jack looked out the window. A long pause followed. He changed the subject. We'll land in 5 hours. Our security team will meet us there. I hope the rebels listen, she said. Jack replied. They usually don't. Sabotage in the dark hours later, alarms began to flash red. The ship shook violently. Explosion in the engine bay, the pilot shouted. Jack jumped to his feet. Sabotage. The ship tilted hard, lights flickering. Sarava, Jack shouted. She had fallen from her seat. He reached out, grabbed her. Arm without thinking, skin, her body felt warm, not cold like he expected. Her touch sent a strange calmness through his chest, almost like the air got thicker and softer. She gasped slightly, eyes wide. You touched me, ... Jack pulled away quickly. I didn't mean to. Are you hurt? No, she said quietly, staring at her arm. I feel strange, but not bad. The pilot yelled, We're going down. The cruiser crash-landed on the forested moon with a loud crack and fire. Jack and Sarava escaped through the emergency hatch, the smell of smoke and metal behind them. Follow me, Jack said. We need to find shelter. Sarava ran beside him, quiet and graceful, but she kept glancing at her arm. Where he had touched her, a soft glow remained for a few seconds before fading. In the shelter night fell fast on Fernie's moon. Jack and Sarava hid in a small stone cave. The security team had not arrived. No signal, they were alone. Jack built a small heat pod and lit a dim, red lamp. Sarava sat beside the fire, hugging her knees. You saved me, she said. Jack looked at the flames. It was instinct, but you touched me, she said again, softer. I did not burn. I did not get sick. I did not scream. Jack closed his eyes. A long time ago, I broke. The treaty I touched a child from another world. She smiled. Then days later she died. Everyone said it wasn't my fault, but I couldn't forgive myself. Sarava said nothing. The fire crackled. That's why I don't touch anyone now, Jack whispered. Especially not royalty. Especially not you. Sarava looked at him, her eyes shining in the firelight. You're not poison, Jack. You're human. Jack opened his mouth, then closed it. He had no words. Finally, she asked, in a voice almost too quiet to hear, Then why don't you touch me, human? Smoke rose behind them like black fingers in the sky. Commander. Jack Harlan and Princess Sarava moved quickly through the dense silver forest of Furnasoon. Trees with glowing roots lit the narrow path as they climbed uphill, searching for higher. Ground. Jack checked his scanner again. Still no signal, he muttered. Our emergency beacon isn't reaching the satellites. Sarava walked quietly beside him, her soft boots barely making a sound. And no sign of our security team? Nothing, Jack said. Either they're delayed or something worse. The memory of the explosion inside their cruiser still burned in his mind. Someone had planned it. This wasn't just a rebel attack. It was a message. He looked at Sarava. She was calm, but her eyes were alert, strong. Royal blood didn't mean weak. She had trained in strategy, language, and even self-defense. But she wasn't made for this running through wild lands with enemies nearby. We'll find a place to hide, Jack said, then plan our next move, the signal tower after. 3 hours of travel, they reached a tall, broken structure in the distance. It looked like an old satellite relay, half buried in moss. Jack scanned it. Maybe we can boost the signal from there. They climbed inside. The tower groaned as wind passed through it. Jack powered the console using a small fusion cell from his belt. System online, the machine said. Jack smiled. You might have a chance. Sarava walked to the open window. She stared at the sky, where the stars blinked like tiny fireflies. Jack, she said softly. He turned, still tapping on controls. Yeah, I keep thinking about the touch, back in the ship. Jack froze. His fingers stopped moving. You didn't get hurt, she said. Neither did I, but still. He pulled away so fast. Jack stood still for a long time, because it scared me. Why? She asked. Because I liked it, he whispered. Sarava stepped closer. You liked it? Jack nodded slowly. Felt ... real, like I hadn't been alive for years. But it's dangerous. We don't know everything about what happens when species touch. Maybe it starts soft and ends in pain. Sarava gently reached out. I'm willing to take that risk. Before she could touch him, the machine beeped. Signal detected, it said. Jack stepped back quickly. We have contact. Earthship Artemis is in range. He sent a distress message. Then gunfire cracked outside the tower. Rebel ambush laser blasts burned through the trees. Red energy beams sizzled into the metal walls. Get down, Jack shouted, pulling Sarava behind a crate. The rebels had found them. Their armor was rusty and mismatched. Their weapons stolen or homemade, but they were deadly. We have to move, Jack said. Sarava nodded. I'll follow you. They escaped through the back, sliding down a hill into the thick woods. Blasts flew over their heads. Jack returned fire with a small pistol, hitting a tree trunk to cause a distraction. Over here, he yelled. He led Sarava into a cave hidden behind hanging vines. Inside, it was dark, cold, and damp, but safe for now. We can't stay long, Jack said. They'll scan for us. Sarva sat on a rock, catching her breath. Why do they hate the peace union so much? Jack asked. Some think it weakens our cultures, Sarva replied. They want the old ways, isolation, power. Looked at her and you. I believe peace is worth the risk, she said. And contact between species is part of peace. Shelter in the night, the cave was quiet, except for the wind outside. Jack lit a small fire. It wasn't much, but it gave them warmth. Sarava sat close. What was she like? She asked suddenly. Jack blinked. Who? The child you touched? The one who died? He looked into the flames. Her name was Leary. From a planet called Noxstar. She was only 6. She gave me a flower. I didn't think just reached out and touched her hand. She smiled. A week later, she was gone. Her people blamed Earth. Sarava placed her hands in her lap. I'm sorry, Jack sighed. The council cleared me, said it was a rare genetic sickness, not my fault. But the fear spread. That's when they added the no-touch rule to the treaty. I followed it ever since. You'd still carry guilt, wouldn't you? Sarava thought for a moment. Yes, but I would not let it control me forever. Jack looked at her. You think I'm weak? No, she said. I think you're human. Silence fell between them again, heavy, but not cold. A strange energy later that night, Jack woke with a start. A soft glow filled the cave. Sarava. He whispered she was standing near the entrance, her skin glowing faintly. Her arms were outstretched, palms facing up. What are you doing? She turned. Do you feel it? Feel what? She walked toward him. The glow grew brighter. When you touched me, something changed. I felt energy inside me. Alive, awake. Jack stood slowly. That's not possible. She stepped close. Maybe it is. Maybe our people are more connected than we know. Jack backed away. We can't test this here. Not now. Sarava lowered her hands. The glow faded. I'm not asking for more, she said softly. Just don't run from me. Jack looked into her eyes. It's not you I'm running from, the message. Next morning, the communicator beeped. Earthship Artemis responding. Extraction in 6 hours. Coordinates locked. Jack smiled. Finally. But Sarava didn't smile. What if they don't let us tell the truth? What do you mean? The touch. The energy. The truth about our bond. Jack's face turned serious. If we talk about it, we could both be punished. But if we stay silent, she said, we stay afraid. Jack didn't answer. His eyes went to her hands, the same hands that had touched him, the same hands that had made him feel alive again. The morning air on Fernie's moon was cold and full of mist. Commander Jack Harlan and Princess Sarava waited near a rocky cliff, watching the skies. Somewhere up there, the Earthship Artemis was coming for them, but peace didn't feel close. Yet 6 hours, Jack said, checking his scanner.
Ollie, we just need to stay alive till then.
Sarava stood nearby, her hands resting on a piece of ancient stone. Her eyes stared at strange glowing symbols on the surface. This place is old, she whispered. Older than the Union, older than even my people. Jack joined her. The symbols glowed faintly blue under their feet. Curved lines, circles, and patterns like stars danced across the stone. Valerian ruins? He asked. Sarava shook her head. No, these markings, they're not from Valeria. These are Exari symbols. Jack's eyes narrowed. Exari, that's impossible. The Exari disappeared centuries ago. Everyone says they left the galaxy. Sarava touched the wall. Or maybe they didn't leave. Maybe they hid something. The lost history inside the ruins, they found a hidden chamber. The door opened when Sarava placed her glowing hand on it. The room lit up with soft light. The center stood a small crystal pillar. Inside it, a holographic scroll. Jack activated the playback. A hologram of Exari scholar appeared. We were wrong, the ancient voice said. We feared the humans too much. Their ability to bond. To form emotional and physical connections with all species. It terrified us. Sarava's eyes widened. This was a secret, the voice continued. We created the no-touch law, not to protect the galaxy, but to keep humans from uniting it. We knew their closeness could destroy our control. Jack stepped back. They built the law on fear. Of us, the recording ended. A heavy silence filled the chamber. They used the peace treaty to divide everyone, Sarava said. Even. Now, we are obeying lies. Jack looked at her. We can't keep this secret. But the council will never believe us, she said. Then we'll give them proof. The fire begins outside, a distant boom echoed across the land. Smoke rose from the forest. Jack's communicator buzzed. Commander Harlan, this is Artemis. Rebel forces are attacking landing zone. Evacuation delayed, cursed under his breath. They're blocking extraction. Sarava's face stayed calm. We must escape the forest. Go where the rebels won't follow. There's no safe zone. There is one, she said. The Lake of Silence. No tech works there. Rebels avoid it. It's sacred. Jack nodded, lead the way. They ran through the silver woods, past broken trees and glowing vines. Every now and then, Jack looked behind them. They were being hunted. Blaster fire suddenly rang out from the trees. Jack pushed Sarava behind a thick tree trunk. Go! They ran again, ducking under branches. And leaping over rocks then, Sarava slipped, falling into a small pit. Jack jumped in after her. Are you okay? He asked, checking her arm. She nodded, wincing. Twisted ankle, not broken. Jack knelt and took off her boot. He gently touched her ankle. A soft light glowed again from her skin, warm, alive. She looked at him. You touched me. I had to. No, she said softly. You chose to. Jack didn't move, and this time he didn't pull away. The truth between them inside the pit. Safe for a moment, Jack wrapped her ankle with cloth. I don't know what's happening between us, he said. Sarava smiled gently. I do, Jack. Raised an eyebrow. You do? Our bodies may be different, but our energy... ... It connects, she said. Maybe that's what the Exari feared. Maybe we're not dangerous alone, but together. Jack touched her fingers, slowly this time. You're not scared? He asked. I was, she said. Not anymore. He held her hand. For a long time they sat like that, no words, just warmth, escaped to the lake with Sarava. Leaning on his shoulder, Jack helped her walk through the forest. They followed the stars until a wide silver lake appeared before them, the Lake of Silence. Everything. Around them went quiet, no birds, no machines, no signals. They rested by the shore. The moonlight reflected off the calm water. We'll wait here, Jack said. Then call Artemis once we're clear. Sarava lay back on the grass. It's peaceful. Jack sat beside her. Strange. For the first time, I feel like I belong. She turned to him. Because you touched me. Jack said. Because I stopped running from myself. She smiled. Then a shadow moved in the trees. Fire and attack rebels burst out of the forest. Their leader, A tall alien with red eyes and scars pointed a weapon. "You dare break the treaty," he shouted. "A human touching a princess. This is why we fight." Jack stood protectively in front of Sarava. "We found the truth. The law. It's fake. It was made by the Ixari," the rebel leader laughed. "Lies. You poison our minds." Sarava stepped forward, limping. "Then kill me," she said. "Guess. I choose peace. I choose him." The rebels hesitated. Jack slowly raised a glowing scroll from his pack, the recording they took from the ruins. "This is proof," and said, "Play it, or destroy it. But know this, the galaxy is waking up." Suddenly, a bright light filled the lake. The Earthship Artemis broke through the clouds. Guns pointed downward. "Stand down," a loud voice boomed. "Surrender or be destroyed." The rebels ran. A change in the stars inside Artemis. Jack and Sarava stood together in the medical bay. She rested on a chair, her ankle treated. A screen played the Ixari recording. Other diplomats watched in silence. Some looked shocked, some angry. "You risqued everything," said the ship captain. "We told the truth," Jack replied. Sarava nodded. "Now it's your choice. Stay afraid or move forward." The ship, Artemis, flew through the stars, calm and silent. Inside, tension was growing. Commander Jack Harlan stood at the center of the main conference hall. Facing the holograms of the Galactic Peace Council, the leaders of more than 30 alien races. They floated in the air like glowing statues, cold eyes, hard faces. Next to Jack sat Princess Sarava, calm and proud, her ankle now healed. She wore a simple white dress with a silver sash, no crown, no armor, only truth. The Ixari. Recording had been played already. The truth was now out, but the reaction wasn't what Jack had hoped for. "We need time to study this," said the Zorak representative, a thin, spiky creature. "The treaty was built on trust," said the Tarlac elder, an old being with skin like stone. "If humans and Valerians broke it, how do we know others won't?" Jack clenched his fists. "We didn't break it for power. We broke it to show the truth." "You touched a royal," said one counselor coldly. "That alone is enough for exile." Sarava stood up. "Then exile me too, because I chose to touch him." Whispers filled the hall. Jack looked at her in surprise. "I knew the risk," Sarava said clearly. "But I believed in it, in him. In peace built through real connection, not fear." The Empress of Valeria appeared next, her image calm but tense. "My daughter speaks for herself now, for many on Valeria who feel the same." The room fell silent. Then the central voice of the council spoke. "We must decide. Either the treaty stays, no contact, no touching between species, or we change everything." Alone, before judgment afer the meeting, Jack sat alone in a quiet room aboard Artemis. He stared at the stars outside. His mind was full of doubts. Had he made it worse? Was peace now even farther away? The door opened. Serval walked in. She sat beside him without a word for a moment. Then she said, "Do you regret it?" Jack looked at her. "What? The touch? The truth? All of it?" Jack shook his head slowly. "No. But I regret the fear I carried for so long." Serval touched his hand, gently. "You faced it." Jack closed his eyes. Her touch wasn't just warm, it was grounding. Like the stars stopped spinning for a moment. "Do you think they'll change the law?" he asked. Sarava shrugged. "Maybe not today. Maybe not even this year. But they heard us. And some believed." She smiled softly. "It begins with one choice," Jack smiled back. "And let's choose again, together." It's the uprising of Truth 3. Days later, protests began across several planets. On Valeria, groups marched with signs. "Truth over fear, let us connect. Humans are not the enemy." On Earth, young diplomats and alien students stood outside the Galactic Embassy. Holding pictures of Jack and Sarava standing, hand in, dash hand, news networks played the Ixari. Scroll again and again. More voices rose. More people asked questions. The silence was breaking, but not everyone was happy. A rebel leader, Tarn, Vol, the one who had chased them on Fernie's moon, released a message. The humans are using charm to take control. If we allow touch, they will spread and corrupt everything. Do not believe the lies. Tensions grew. On some planets, fights broke out. On others, peace groups formed. Jack knew the galaxy was now standing at a crossroads. A bold offer back aboard Artemis. The Peace Council called for one final vote. Before that, each side was allowed to speak one last time. Sarava was ready. Wore no symbols, no royal robes, only her voice. She stepped onto the platform and spoke. My name is Sarava. I am Valerian, but I speak not just for my people. I speak for every species that has ever wondered what it would feel like to shake a human's hand and wasn't allowed. She paused. They told us the treaty kept us safe, but fear is not. Safety. Fear is a cage. Then she pointed at Jack. This human did not touch me to hurt. He touched me to help. He didn't run from danger. He ran toward it, to protect me, to understand me. She turned back to the council. I now give up my royal title. I am no longer a princess. I am a bridgewalker. Whispers spread across the chamber. I will travel across stars, not as a symbol of power, but as a symbol of peace. I offer this choice, a new unity accord, one based on truth, science, and permission. If two species agree, they may touch. If they do not, they don't. She looked around. That is true respect. Then she stepped down. The chamber went quiet. Jack walked beside her and held her hand. Openly, the Vodich council member was called to vote. Some stood quickly. Yes, they said. Let them choose. Some said no, their eyes full. Of doubt, others hesitated, and stood and nodded. One by one the votes were counted, and when the final number was spoken, everyone held their breath. Its majority in favor of new unity accord. Jack closed his eyes. Sarava smiled. The chamber exploded with noise. Cheers, cries, even tears. It was done. The new beginning weeks later. Jack and Sarava stood at a large gathering on Earth's moon base. Thousands of people and aliens stood. Before them, cameras floated in the air. The galaxy was watching. The Empress of Valeria spoke first, giving her blessing. Then Jack stepped forward. He said only one thing. We are not perfect, but we are human. And that means ... we reach out. Turned to Sarava, she reached out her hand. He took it. The crowd roared. The stars above Earth's moon were bright that night. Below them, the crowd at Moonbase 1 was still cheering. Alien voices mixed with human claps and joyful shouts. Flags of many planets waved together in the air. Commander Jack Harlan and former Princess Sarava stood on a tall stage. Their hands were held tightly, fingers interlocked for all to see. For years, physical touch between species was forbidden. But now, after truth, fire, and courage, a new era had begun. Jack looked at the smiling faces. Children, diplomats, soldiers, and scientists, Valerians, humans, and others. But not afraid anymore. Curious. Hopeful. He turned to Sarava and smiled. We did it, he whispered. No, she said softly. They did it. We just showed them the door. New dawn. The Unity Accord had passed just 1 week ago. And yet across the galaxy, change was happening faster than anyone expected. On Valeria, schools had opened cultural exchange programs. Human and alien students sat together, learning each other's languages, histories, and even doing safe touch experiments under science labs. On Earth, the first shared touch garden opened in New Berlin, where alien plants and human trees grew side by side. Children of different races played together, high-fiving, laughing, and hugging with permission. The old no-touch treaty wasn't erased completely. It still protected those who didn't want contact. But now people could choose. And that changed everything. The path of the Bridgewalkers, Jack and Sarava, had become more than symbols. They became Bridgewalkers, ambassadors of connection. Our job was to travel planet to planet, helping species understand each other better. Their ship, a sleek silver vessel named the Horizon, carried the banner of peace. Painted on the hull was a hand half human, half Valerian, reaching toward a glowing star. Their first mission was on a desert planet called Drillner, where the native people feared humans deeply. "Why should we trust you?" the Drellnari elder asked Jack when they landed. Jack did not argue. He simply held out his hand and said, "You don't have to, but I'll stand here until you believe I'm not your enemy." He stood for 3 hours in the burning sun. Then the elder came forward and touched his hand. The next day, a new trade agreement was signed. A silent threat, but not everyone was happy. In the shadows of the galaxy, angry voices rose. Tarn Vol, the rebel leader from Furnace Moon, had not disappeared. He had escaped after the vote and was now leading a group known as the Order of Silence. They believed the Unity Accord was a trick that humans were using connection. To take power over other species, we will not let the stars be ruled by touch, Tarn said in a secret broadcast. We will break their bridges before they are built. Attacks began again. A school on Valeria was bombed. A cultural center on Mars was burned. Messages were clear. Stop touching, or more will suffer. Courage and Choice Jack and Sarava were asked to return home. The council feared for their safety, but they refused. "We started this journey," Sarava said. "We will not run now." Their next stop was Zarian, a mining planet known for strong beliefs and strict traditions. The people were proud and suspicious of outsiders. As they landed, security surrounded them. Drones flew above. Tension filled the air. Jack stepped forward to speak to the crowd. "I know you're afraid," he said, "and it's okay to feel that, but fear cannot be the only voice in the room." He looked at Sira V. She took a deep breath and said, "We came to share, not to change you. We only ask for a conversation." The leader of the planet, High Warden Trex, walked forward. He was large, with dark armor and serious eyes. "You carry danger in your hands," Trex said to Jack. Jack slowly removed his gloves. "No," he said. "I carry a promise." Trex stepped closer. Then he reached out, touched Jack's wrist. It was short, light, but powerful. The crowd gasped. The next day, the mining unions of Zarian joined the Unity Accord. Love and the Quiet One night back. On the horizon, Sarava stood at the window, staring into space. Stars blinked slowly in the dark. Jack walked up beside her. They had just finished a long mission on Una, a water planet that had once banned all alien ships. Now, it had been invited for a festival. "You're quiet," Jack said. Sarava nodded. "I'm thinking about what?" She turned to him, her eyes soft. "Do you ever wonder if this journey is more than just peace and missions?" Jack leaned against the wall. "You mean ... us?" She smiled. "Yes. I mean us." Jack took her hand gently. "I've thought about it," he said. "Every day." Sarava touched his chest over his heart. "You were the first to see me as more than a title. And you were the first to make me feel human again," Jack said. They stood there in silence, holding each other in the soft blue light. A legacy begins months past. Planets joined the Unity Accord one by one. The Order of Silence tried many times to stop it, but their lies failed against growing hope. One day, on Valeria, a new monument was revealed. It showed a human hand and a Valerian hand touching in, the center surrounded by light. Beneath it was a plaque that read, "Connection is not weakness, it is strength. And strength shared is strength doubled." At the ceremony, Jack spoke to a large crowd. "Years ago, I was afraid to touch. I was afraid of pain, of guilt, of breaking rules. But Sarava taught me that love cannot grow behind walls." He turned to her. She smiled. And this time, in front of the whole galaxy. He kissed her. It wasn't forbidden now. It was celebrated. Final scene, a new generation 5 years later. On a peaceful station orbiting Earth and Valeria together, a group. of young trainees gathered in a classroom. A little girl, half human and half Valerian, raised her hand and asked the teacher, "Is it true? Did the first bridgewalkers change everything by just holding hands?" The teacher smiled. "Yes, just one touch, one brave choice." The children looked at the glowing statue in the room. Jack and Sarava, hand in hand, forever in peace. Outside, a ship named Horizon 2 prepared to leave. A new team of bridgewalkers stepped aboard. The journey wasn't over. It was just beginning.